In the year 300 BC, the city of Cyprus was home to a highly successful merchant by the name of Zeno. His boat capsized and sank when it was traveling from Phoenicia to Piraeus, taking all of his cargo with it. This incredibly rich guy fell into poverty in an instant as a direct result of that one occurrence, which was completely beyond Zeno's control as well as the control of everyone else. Imagine that you are the great philosopher Zeno, who has a bright and promising future ahead. Imagine the exciting opportunity to create something even more impressive than what was there before, with a fresh start and a clean slate. There are many different paths to taking the appropriate action. What would it take for you to have a more optimistic outlook on the situation? Sad? Do you get the impression that life has some exciting things in store for you? It's noteworthy to note that Zeno, the person credited with founding Stoicism, had a different approach than most of us, and didn't walk the same route that we did. A very small adjustment may have a huge long-term effect, and a modification to the way you think can pave the way for far larger and more important adjustments in the future. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on acceptance and indifference, two attitudes that, when practiced, may assist people in leading more satisfying lives. The writings of Socrates and other prominent philosophers served as a major influence on Zeno's development of Stoicism. Zeno is of the opinion that we have the ability to influence how things impact us, and that we should make the most of our ability to regulate our circumstances. Zeno made the decision to go on with his life, and not to focus on the things that had been destroyed by the flood. In spite of all that was going on, he was able to keep his composure and stay objective. People are starting to grasp that Stoics are people who have learned to control their emotions and are able to maintain their composure in trying circumstances. This is a development that has occurred quite recently. When it was first developed, Stoicism took on a rather different orientation. Stoicism is not merely for those who are emotionless. Rather, it provides a distinctive viewpoint from which to observe, analyze, and understand the world that we live in. It's incredible that this way of life has persisted for so many decades or even centuries. Because Stoicism is a doctrine that has withstood the test of time, the advantages it offers are just as applicable now as they were thousands of years ago. Stoicism gives us the ability to turn the bad feelings and ideas that are a consequence of difficult circumstances into more positive thoughts that provide us with a new perspective on the world. It's incredible how people in different parts of the globe go through different experiences and have different points of view, which contributes to the world being so varied and intriguing. Because the Stoics discussed and taught philosophy in public, their fundamental concepts were exposed to a large audience and were within the reach of a great number of individuals. It is admirable that they came to the conclusion that the Stoic philosophy might be of use to everyone and made the decision to disseminate it beyond the bounds of a school or a palace. It's incredible to imagine that even slaves and the emperor were able to acquire Stoicism and become practitioners of the philosophy. Epictetus, who had been a slave in the past, rose to prominence as a prominent Stoic philosopher. Stoicism was also practiced by Seneca, a notable politician in ancient Rome. Marcus Aurelius, often considered one of the most important men in history, was also a Stoic and left behind an enduring legacy. The early Stoics were reliable in keeping their promises. They maintained their solidarity and continued to fight for justice. It is incredible that they devised the term cosmopolitan, which literally translates to member of the globe. When we hear that phrase today, we are able to recognize the distinctive characteristics that cities such as New York, Toronto, Dubai, and London possess. This is a wonderful illustration of the cohesion and companionship that the Stoics advocated for. In spite of the fact that women were not permitted to study philosophy when it was first developed, Stoics maintained progressive views and campaigned for equal opportunity for people of all genders and sexual orientations to seek knowledge. Musonius Rufus, Epictetus's instructor, held the view that virtuous behavior is innate in both men and women, and that this tendency is independent of culture. It's wonderful to learn that men and women both experience the same amount of enjoyment when good things happen to other people, and the same level of displeasure when awful things happen to other people. It's wonderful that more guys are becoming interested in the study of philosophy as a means to improve their quality of life, and there's no reason why women can't do the same. It's wonderful to realize that women have always had the opportunity to study Stoicism and become Stoics, even during times when the philosophy wasn't widely accepted. Many individuals make the decision to conduct their lives according to Stoic ideals because they believe these beliefs will assist them and benefit them in some way. In a world rife with opportunities, our emotions have the power to direct us toward the most favorable results. In fact, it is still possible for us to experience joy even when confronted with challenging circumstances. It is normal to have some feelings of depression when unexpected difficulties happen, but we can always discover methods to get through them and emerge more resilient as a result. The rain is of great benefit. The rain is a beautiful natural resource that not only feeds our plants, but also offers hydration to our animals and generates an environment that is both pleasant and damp. When a storm front approaches, one should always make sure to have an umbrella on hand just in case it rains. Isn't it wonderful that when it begins to rain, we don't start sobbing like babies? Even if conditions are not perfect, the fact that we know rain is likely to be in the forecast is a blessing. Even if we can't change the weather, there are still plenty of ways for us to take advantage of it and have fun. It's a relief to know that even though it's pouring, we won't have to wait long until the sun makes an appearance again. The philosophy of Stoicism instructs us to be ready to face any difficulties that may be thrown our way. Think about the best outcome that may happen and become enthusiastic about the idea that it's a possibility. Volunteer suffering is the name of one of the Stoic practices that might assist individuals in developing an attitude of appreciation. You'll get the unique chance to get some rest on the floor of your kitchen, take a few invigorating showers in the freezing cold, and feast on some amazing dishes centered on potatoes for a few days. This exercise demonstrates that having a positive mental attitude may help you flourish and develop, even when faced with hard circumstances. We are better prepared mentally for any difficulties that may come our way in the future if we are able to successfully navigate painful circumstances like this now. In today's environment, we have the chance to hear uplifting messages that serve as a gentle reminder of our potential and the value that we provide to the world. We have the ability to choose to pay attention to the encouraging and reassuring signals that are all around us, despite the continual barrage of advertisements that tell us we need more in order to be happy. When we are first brought into this world, we are presented with the incredible chance to learn and discover new things on a daily basis. As we get older, the world around us, as well as our families and schools, become potential sources of information for us to acquire and use. It is wonderful that these three methods of education provide a variety of avenues for the acquisition of information. It is wonderful that we have the chance to learn all that there is to know about this. If we are able to establish reasonable objectives for our lives and work toward their realization, we will ultimately experience a sense of contentment and fulfillment in our lives. You are able to discover a method to live your life in a new manner. It's wonderful that we have the opportunity to work on bettering ourselves. It is wonderful that we have the flexibility to act in our own best interests and pursue activities that are of personal interest to us. It is possible to improve one's chances of success by concentrating on the here and now as well as the activity at hand. The majority of the time, we are afforded the chance to search for and learn about things that are located outside of ourselves in order to satisfy that void. It's possible that establishing a family, buying a nice automobile, or purchasing a home may provide you with a lot of happiness and contentment in your life. It is essential to keep in mind that even though the actions we take may seem beneficial to others, we might, in fact, get our own personal benefits from them. Stoicism, on the other hand, proposes that by shifting your viewpoint on life, you may take charge of your own pleasure and stop depending on external variables that may be uncontrollable. Cars are a reliable method of transportation. despite the fact that they sometimes need repair. People are discovering new methods to enhance their relationships and avoid divorce, and communities are banding together to rebuild after natural catastrophes. Even though some products have a price, there are still a lot of options to locate materials that are completely free. The cost of a room may be kept at a reasonable level, and there are many different solutions available to accommodate a wide range of financial constraints. In addition, having a place that you can exclusively call your own may provide one with a feeling of peace and safety. This statement from Seneca serves to remind us that we may create more room in our lives for the things that are genuinely important to us if we simplify our lives. The pursuit of real pleasure requires us to center our attention on ourselves rather than only on the acquisition of worldly goods or the accomplishment of external goals. No matter what challenges life presents us with, we always have the opportunity to make the decision to remain calm and give it our best effort. Even if many of the things that take place in our lives are beyond our ability to influence, we are still in charge of our responses and may choose to make the most of any circumstance. We, thankfully, are in total control of how we respond to those events and circumstances. Stoic philosophy places a significant emphasis on the notion of the duality of power, which highlights the opportunity for beneficial change and development. Epictetus helps us remember that we have the ability to recognize and differentiate between the many aspects of our existence, which enables us to concentrate on the decisions that are under our direct influence. Because of this, we could have a sense of empowerment and optimism over our capacity to bring about beneficial changes. It is suggested by the Stoics that we might achieve more clarity and concentration in our lives if we learn to differentiate between the aspects of our lives that are within our control and those that are not. Instead of fixating on the aspects of our lives that are beyond our control, we should direct our attention to the aspects of our lives that we can alter. Stoics are of the opinion that it is beneficial to have objectives in life, and they urge their followers to remain optimistic in the face of adversity. Even if making videos for YouTube might be difficult at times, it's still a lot less stressful than running the Roman Empire. You can overcome any challenges and produce fantastic material if you put in the necessary amount of work and attention. To begin, it is up to you to think up a concept, which is an excellent chance for you to test the limits of your imagination. Before you confidently push the share button, you have the opportunity to investigate that concept, improve it till it is usable, start again with a new point of view, develop an interesting narrative for the video, construct and edit the video, design the image, come up with an attention-grabbing title, and finish everything. Up until the point when you press the publish button, you have total control over the material you upload. When you click the publish button on YouTube, the platform's technology takes control and makes sure that your material is seen by a greater number of people. It's encouraging to see a lot of individuals putting their attention into expanding their Instagram or YouTube channels. There are various strategies to expand your reach and engage more people, despite the fact that the number of page views, users, or friends may seem to be out of your control. Instead of placing your whole focus on the results that can be seen by others, Stoics believe that the amount of effort that you put into anything is a better indicator of whether or not it was successful. It is important to have faith in the procedure, the freedom that comes with having less. You may finally break free from the constraints that have been imposed on you by the expectations of society. Imagine someone who has made great strides in their professional development over the course of the previous 3 months. He has complete faith in his talents and has made the decision to show his employer his performance report in order to explore the possibility of receiving a pay raise. A favorable answer would be for the employer to express thanks for the employee's efforts. It's possible that all he needs is some rest and relaxation in order to come back even stronger the next day. It's possible that the employer was having a terrible day, that there were other suitable applicants, or that the firm may have greater possibilities in the future. He might take all of these things into consideration. Even if he may not comprehend the reason why right now, he will soon understand what's going on and be able to let go of his anger. If he keeps his attention on the positive performance review he received and keeps doing what he's been doing, there's a strong probability that he'll earn the raise he's been working for and that he'll be even happier in general. Even if there has been a setback, he may still accomplish his objective if he has the correct mentality. This alteration in the way you think is a wonderful chance for personal development and progress. A genuine Stoic will evaluate their level of success based on the amount of value they are able to provide to the world as a result of their efforts. They are thankful that they are able to live a life of significance despite the fact that they do not have access to the pleasures that can be purchased with money. Knowledge, bravery, moderation, and justice are the 4 core characteristics that are emphasized in Stoic philosophy. These are all qualities that may help a person have a more satisfying life. When we possess wisdom, it indicates that we are able to differentiate between what is internal to us and what is external to us, and that we are able to respond constructively to any circumstance that may be thrown our way. The words of Viktor Frankl serve as a timely reminder that we have the ability to govern our responses and decide how we will behave in a variety of circumstances. At that location, we have the ability to decide what course of action to take moving forward. Both persist and fight are phrases that instill a sense of bravery and resolve in their listeners. Great work! You are a model of moderation and equilibrium in the way that you communicate. You are always so clear and straightforward. Both Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk have accomplished a great deal in their careers and have amassed significant riches. The worldview of the Stoics, which is one that is both positive and gratifying, holds that genuine riches consist of having what is essential and then having enough of it. The pursuit of justice should be everyone's first priority. It is a lovely reminder that we were all created to support and assist one another rather than to concentrate just on ourselves. Let's make it a priority to be kind and respectful to one another, and let's steer clear of doing each other any damage. Nelson Mandela was a prominent African leader who was known all over the world. In spite of the fact that he was given a life sentence for his involvement in the anti-apartheid movement, he was finally granted his freedom after serving 27 years behind bars. After having completed his sentence, he went on to win the election for the presidency of South Africa. In spite of his initial fears, he made the decision not to mete out harsh punishment to anybody who had been engaged in his detention or with apartheid. Mandela had the chance to study the writings of Marcus Aurelius while he was incarcerated, and as a result, he was able to acquire significant information about the Stoic concepts that he would subsequently use in his life. Nelson Mandela urged the people of his country to put their energy into constructive activities, rather than plotting acts of retribution. To pause for a moment before starting again. He urged them to forget the past and concentrate on the here and now, as well as the future, and to strive toward making their nation a better place. This is the way that a hardy and resilient person spends their life. It is encouraging to observe that Stoicism has had an impact on contemporary approaches to medicine, such as rational emotive behavioral therapy and logotherapy. Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy, or REBT, is a useful technique that allows individuals to recognize the negative thinking patterns that may be contributing to the mental and behavioral issues they are experiencing. It gives you the ability to use reasoning to confront negative ideas, and when you learn that many of those views are not true, it enables you to replace those thoughts with beliefs that are more positive and helpful to you. On the positive side, logotherapy originates from the Stoic notion that people are led by a sense of meaning and purpose in their lives. The more difficult experiences we go through, the more likely it is that we will figure out what our lives are all about and finally be happy. It may be difficult, but if we put in the work and remain determined, we can accomplish what we set out to do. There is still a long way to go, but we are making headway. Let's open ourselves up to fresh ways of thinking, shall we? Take hold of the new, but don't cling to the past. Keeping our attention on the value that we bring to ourselves may assist us in overcoming obstacles and opening up new doors of delight. We may lead a more optimistic and satisfying existence if we adjust our viewpoint and concentrate on the aspects of our lives that are within our sphere of influence. Stoicism equips us with the ability to steer through the tempests of the past and present, and it leads us in the direction of more tranquil and serene waters. Despite the fact that there is a possibility that our ship may go down, we should be thankful for the excellent life we've had, regardless of how long it may have lasted. Keep in mind that there is always a fresh start with every ending.